How's it going?
Hey, Hey, good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah. Hey,
Cool.
does everything look fine, sound fine? This is a new setup for me, so.
Yeah, you look good. We'll test it out. It's kind of a tiny bit quiet, but not bad at all. Let me turn you up a little bit from here. Cool. Nice. Yeah, so you do all your stuff from the gym? Or is that a fake
Um,
background? I can't tell.
no, that's real. That's all the gym equipment. So, historically a little mixed. I did some stuff in the office and did some stuff here and whatever. Um, Trying to streamline my processes so I'm not setting up camera and then moving it and then setting up there and then do thing whatever. So the last like month or so has been trying to set up a like permanent station here in the garage that can be used for this kind of stuff, talking head, YouTube videos, whatever it might be. So, yeah.
That's
Well,
that's what I'm trying to do. I'm in my son's room right now, but it's like, you only got so much space in your garage, right? So it's like I've got to try to
yep,
figure out how to make that work, which is always the issue for us, right? So today I have
yep.
Mr. Joe Gray. You're like one of the OG like kind of equipment home gym guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been around since 2013,
Oh yeah.
in my garage doing stuff way before COVID. I'm one of those weirdos.
Yeah, everybody is that did
And
that did that just get huge after COVID? That's when everyone else kind of jumped in.
COVID hit, and then like I had neighbors knocking on my door, like, "Hey, do I know you have gym equipment. Can I come lift at your place or whatever?" And like I had a buddy around the corner that I knew lifted. I took him. I had an extra bar and some bumpers, and I was like, "Hey, this will get you rolling at least for a little bit." And oh yeah, COVID was nuts. So like this is my powerlifting competition. We had
Was it
like
garage
200
gym
people.
competition? What's it called?
Yep, garage gym competition. So I had 200 people compete the year before COVID, and then COVID hit, and we had 1,200 people compete.
Nice.
And like a good chunk of them were people who don't still lift at home. They had no intentions on lifting at home for the long term. They were dragging their monos and comp benches and stuff from their local gym into their garage, and yeah, it was wild. So that was a interesting couple of years for sure. You,
Are
you
you
definitely had some people who were like, okay, they saw the light and they went, I'm going to have a home gym of some sorts, whether it was their permanent fixture or kind of a supplementary piece to the puzzle for them. But yeah, there you had a whole bunch of people who were like, no, this is temporary. So it was wild.
Yeah, I was wondering, is that like so so I've been really diving into the home gym community stuff over the last few months, just like obsessed and I don't know, is first of all, you guys have like a way more positive community than we do over here in the fitness industry, like in the mainstream fitness.
It tends to be, yeah, there's a lot. You have the kind of the bleed over where someone will show up and be like, "You're talking about gym equipment, and you don't even look like you lift," right? So you still get that stuff. And like at this point, I have like a couple of like stock responses for that. I have a picture I used for a thumbnail for one of my back videos, and it's just me turned around like this kind of thing. And so like some guy was like, "Oh yeah, well let's see your back," and I was like, "Oh, here you go." And then he, of course, didn't say shit
Yeah, I mean, don't you
afterwards.
have like a 600 something pound squat or dead or some shit? What have you pulled?
Yeah, my best deadlift is 630. Best squat is 550. Best bench is like 370-ish. And then like I just did 580 for 10 on a trap bar the other day. So like I mean in powerlifting terms, like I'm not winning
Yeah.
championships or anything, but very few people are
Yeah,
gonna
I,
be
I
like,
don't.
"Oh, that dude doesn't lift weights,"
Yeah,
right?
I didn't
Like,
hit any of those lifts ever except for the bench. My squat was close, but I never pulled more than six plates and like so
yeah.
it's like,
So
it's you definitely look like you work out, bro. I can see
yeah,
why they say some of that. Some of the guys I do see. And then sometimes when they give like their mechanics talk and stuff, I'm like, okay, that's kind of silly.
yeah,
Like maybe just show,
yeah.
but that's one of the reasons I reached out to you is because I really vibed with your style. I've been watching everybody. I really like Gluck, That's one of the things
Uh-huh.
too, is I think all your guys you're like no, I mean, you kind of are, but most people like I think that helps with the kind of community is like no one seems to have like this massive ego. No one's like really super cool. You know what I mean? Like you go in the fitness industry, you have these
Yeah.
influencers who are like so cool, too cool for school. Where like everyone's kind of
Yep.
like laughs at themselves over here a little bit. So I reached out
Yep.
to Gluck, and I like strength and steel. And then sorry, and then you obviously I thought I related a lot to your stuff. I thought you kind of go about things a little bit more similar to how I do. And so I was curious, what do you before you get into everything, what's your thoughts on like the whole Gluck lawsuit situation and stuff like that?
I mean, I guess the short answer would be Vulcan should have handled that differently, right? There was probably a thousand ways they could have done it, and they picked one of like two that were not productive, right?
Yeah.
They could have, I mean, YouTube videos don't tend to live on in infamy, right? Some continue to get views forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, but it's a very rare thing, especially a product review. They could have literally just like rebranded the name of that rack and it would have never shown up again, right? If they called it instead of the Talus, they called it the Vulcan Steel or something or whatever. Search engine optimization would have not picked it up, like nothing. Like it would have disappeared. That would have been it. They could have done what most companies do, companies I've worked with before, and turned around and said, "Hey, appreciate the feedback. We've had some people who have really liked it. We're confused why maybe it didn't work for you. Maybe we can get all of us on a call and chat about some of those things and see why, or they could have just said, "Hey, thanks," and then moved on and never talked to them again. Or I mean, there's so
Right.
many different things they could have done, and instead they took the one approach, which was like, "Hey, we're gonna make a situation way, 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 way worse." So, yeah, and uh, I don't know if they underestimate the support of like content creators sometimes, or the home gym community, or I talked to a couple of my buddies behind the scenes and they're like, I'm pretty sure Vulcan's not doing great. And so
Yeah.
that's like a last ditch effort of, hey, this might bury us. We got to do something. There's some, stuff thrown around about like Vulcan is part of, there's a bigger company above. I forget what the name is, but they own Vulcan. They own a company that makes kettlebells. They own another something, something, something. And so they're the ones that are like, hey, we can't deal with this. I don't know. There's all kinds of weird conspiracy stuff as always, but the short answer is just that's just not the way the world works, right?
Yeah.
You don't, or shouldn't be, I should say. You should not sue someone because they have a difference of opinion of you. I would sue so many people if
Right.
that was the case, right? Like that's just wild.
Yeah, it's so wild to see like just like you said, they just made things a million times worse.
Yes,
Like now, like
way
nobody supports
worse.
any of their products. Maybe a couple people wouldn't have bought that fucking rack, but now
Yeah.
nobody buys anything. They've had to take their
Yep.
comments off the IG. They even like post
Yep.
about it on their website and stuff. So I guess sorry for people that don't know, one of the most popular reviewers, he's getting sued by an equipment company for a pretty negative review. And yeah, I can't imagine that going very well over with the community. And have you ever dealt with
Yeah.
anything close to that? Anyone try to get like litigious with you?
No, I've had so early on I had a couple of companies who like when you first start doing stuff you kind of say yes and you're a small dude and so you maybe don't necessarily fully read contracts because even if you did it's this long and it's legal mumbo jumbo and whatever. Um you might say something, yeah, I'll take this or that. I had one company who it was a hip thrust like bench that we were reviewing. Um, and my whole deal is I take a long time to review things. So at minimum, it's going to be like a couple of months. Sometimes it's 6. My rack behind me is going to get like a full year treatment before I like share any real thoughts on it. We're doing a project this year testing collars for barbells, and it's going to be used by me, a friend of mine who does Olympic lifts, etc. And I won't like I've just bought $700 in collars or something, and I'm not going to be done until like December,
I know I
right?
saw that. I'm like all excited for this collar
Yeah.
video.
So, um, so I had to learn kind of through a couple of hiccups. This one company, it shows up. I hadn't even unboxed it yet, and they were like, "Hey, where's the video?" I'm like, well, it showed up on Tuesday." and it's Thursday, and they're like, yeah, we need the video within 1 week. And I go, what the hell would I know about this in a week? And they're like, well, that's what most of our people do. And I was like, okay, well, maybe that's a glaring sign right there that you're working with people who are comfortable putting something out that quickly, but that's my own personal opinion and stance. And they're like, so then it kept escalating. I gave them like, hey, this is when it's going to be out because I have a timeline for when I'm working on stuff. And the lady tries to throw this thing at me like, my company, said that if it's not posted by, and it was some date, that I'm gonna get fired, and then I have 3 kids, and we have to go on unemployment, and the unemployment in my country isn't very good, and we'll lose our health care. And I'm sitting there going, none of that is my
That's not
jam.
on
Like
me. Sorry.
I don't think I am responsible for any of that.
That's hilarious.
And so I actually ended up like screenshotting all of that and putting it in the review that I put on my website. Like,
Exactly.
hey, you probably shouldn't buy from this company if this is the way that they're treating people. And we didn't really like the product anyway, so that didn't help. But it was it was weird. I learned really strongly from that one. Like I have like my pitch or whatever for companies when they say that they're interested in, working with me or I reach out to them. It's like, hey, this is what I do. This is what you should expect. I'm a 6 foot, 250 pound dude. I squat 550, deadlift 630. I'm gonna break shit if it's not good, right? Because I've broken multiple things over the last year or two. And I go, if you're not comfortable with that, don't send it to me, right? I'm gonna tell the honest truth, everything. You're not gonna get to see it beforehand, the whole deal, right? If I have questions, obviously I'll run that past you. I'm not gonna use your marketing script. I'm not gonna use any of that stuff. And it's gonna take like, and I'll tell them I'm booked until September or whatever it is. And that way they can go, no thanks, right? Like I had a company wanting to send me it's like a kind of like a tonal type thing.
The Oaks
And
Fit
I
or the Ox Fit or whatever it is?
It's one that's not out yet. That's gonna go through like Kickstarter or whatever kind of thing. And so, but yes, so I send them a note back and I'm like, hey, I'm booked until like right now, I'm basically booked until February of next year. And part of that is because I only do a video every 2 weeks. And I take vacation and a couple other things and whatever. And they just didn't even reply back. That was just it. But like that's good for me. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. This isn't gonna be somebody that I should work with, right? So luckily being upfront and transparent about those expectations has kind of pushed a lot of that to the side for a lot of these companies. I'm pretty well connected in a handful of different communities, and I get to see some behind the scenes stuff. So, a company, I'll go ahead and say Expedience. They make this home gym all-in-one smart thing. They've tried to work with me for a while, and I had to flat out tell them we're not working together. And it's because one of the Facebook groups that I moderated for a bit, they got kind of like shadow banned from because they kept making fake Facebook accounts and dropping
Damn.
comments about the Expedience Gym Monster is fantastic and look at all the cool things it can do. And so these just real shady marketing tactics. I had a number of my other content creators tell me like the contract that they send over is absurd and their expectations are ridiculous. And then I had a couple of companies, which rarely happens, full on tell me like, "Hey, we work with a lot of people. They're the only ones that I hope go out of business." Like just like flat out. And I was like, "All right, well, that's 3 strikes and you're out. Not working with
Yeah.
those dudes." So, trying to trust my gut, trying to take in all the information that I can, being real transparent about what I do and how it works has so far kept me out of the courtroom, and hopefully that's the case moving forward. Because, I mean, I think talking to some people, the lawsuit for Gluck in terms of viewership and stuff has absolutely helped
Yeah.
because he got dragged into a shitstorm, and nothing goes crazier than that on the internet, right?
Right.
But is the amount of work and effort and money and everything that he's going to have to do with a lawyer and the whole deal, staying up late to do all I don't want that. Like so.
Yeah, just extra stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. There's something different about the way you approach things. I don't know what it is, but like when I watch like product reviews from like everybody because you got to get the different perspectives. But it's like Coop. Like I don't know something about Coop. I don't love. I don't know what it is. He seems kind of shilly, but like and also I didn't love his take on the Gluck stuff. And but like I'll see him or somebody else like review something. I'm like, okay, I kind of am learning the features. But then like I'll watch you. I'm like,
Sure.
this is gonna determine whether I buy this or not. So like I said, I got
Yeah.
the hyper pro because of you, and like I said, just the way
Cool.
you beat the fuck out of it too was a big part of
Yeah.
me wanting it. So I like the way you do things. Now, what I noticed, like a lot of you guys, it's not like you have the hugest audience necessarily, but you guys are pretty much like this is your full-time thing, the whole equipment review.
Yeah, so the way I typically tell people is I'm kind of more like a stay-at-home dad with a side business.
Yeah, there you go.
So I worked in human resources for a bank for a little over a decade. I actually really liked what I did for quite a while. So my bachelor's is in human resources. My master's is in instructional design. The bank I worked for had good benefits, good pay. They paid for the vast majority of my master's degree.
Oh,
I was by the time I was like towards the end of my tenure, I was the business manager for the CHRO. So I was included, I regularly had meetings with executives and C-suite members and all kinds of stuff, but I didn't actually have any direct reports, which was
yeah.
fantastic. So I had a lot of influence, a lot of ability to walk in and go, that's a bad idea. We're not doing that. And they'd go, okay, because they knew I had done my research and put things together and all kinds of stuff, without the headache of having to manage, a department of people. And I really liked it. And then the bank got bought out, and we went from being owned by a Dutch parent to being owned by a financial investment firm out of Texas, owned by a bunch of old rich white guys. So it very quickly changed. The culture of the company that bought us was like, hey, we know what we're doing. Shut up. Just do your work kind of thing. And it just wasn't a good fit for me. I was going to leave. COVID hit and then went, okay, I can't leave a job because we don't know what this looks like or how long it's going to last or anything. And so I stuck it out for like a year and a half or so. And then the home gym stuff was blowing up. And my wife's a nurse, so she makes good money, has good benefits, the whole deal. If she lost her job tomorrow, somehow she'd have another one the day after, right? So she's got the stability piece locked down. And I was like, hey, everyone keeps telling me like I could easily pivot this thing that was just a hobby. I was just making videos occasionally, doing some stuff, nothing. I literally wasn't, I was losing money by a
Yeah.
long shot. And I was like, everyone keeps telling me this could be a business. If it is a business, not only would I make money, but I'd be fully in control of my own schedule. My daughter was going into kindergarten at the time, so trying to manage, hey, they're just off on a random Thursday for no reason,
Yeah.
right? Or minimum days all week,
All
or
the
all
time.
that nonsense is just insane. And so we were like, that would all be taken care of. I wanted to coach her sports teams because she really likes to play various sports, and it's like all these things started stacking up, and we went, okay, we're gonna try it. Left the bank, started doing it, and it's bobbed and weaved and adjusted and all kinds of stuff over the last couple of years, especially since it was like post COVID and then post COVID, and the economy was doing whatever
Yeah.
various stuff and trying to figure out what would the right moves were on all that. But yeah, this is from my end, this is the only income, and then yeah, so reviews, running the competition, doing various things in the home gym community is my full-time job. So
Nice. It's so easy to get like lost in this shit. Like my whole thing is fitness. I'm obsessed with biomechanics, and like it's very
yeah,
rare for me to get obsessed with something. And like I've been really obsessed with this home gym stuff, and
yeah.
I feel bad for my channel right now because they've been like, where's your shit?" And I'm like, okay, it's coming back. I just got to get my gym situated a little bit. Are
Yeah,
you out here in Cali? I thought where are you at?
yeah,
Where
yeah.
at?
Just north, no, just north of Sacramento.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm down south. I'm in Orange County.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have way more of those minimum school days and all that bullshit out here than I had when I was in Texas. I don't remember
yeah.
any of that like ever. And so one thing that really like sucks for me, and I don't see a lot of you guys have this issue, is like I'm like incompetent with tools. I suck at DIY stuff.
Ah,
It's
okay.
like
Yeah.
really, I mean, like, I can do a couple things, but not like anything at all. And it seems like if you are handy, you can make your life so much easier as a home gym guy.
Yeah.
Are you pretty
Yep.
DIY? You know how to do a bunch of shit?
Um, I've learned over the years and have gotten a lot better. I also am lucky that I know most of my neighbors and they are various handies. So the guy I coach with, my daughter's best friend, they're all on the same teams together in the same school and everything like that. He comes and lifts a couple of days a week in the garage. His like literal day job is I think that I think the official term is like custodial engineer or something like that. He's a handyman,
Yeah.
right? So he takes care of a couple of different like courtrooms and stuff like that. And so lights go out, HVAC goes out, plumbing, blah blah blah, like all of the above. It's him. So he's got uh I could pick his brain on a lot of different things. I got a neighbor across the street when I did all the painting and stuff in here, when I cleaned things up. He's a painter,
Uh-huh.
so I got to borrow his spray gun and he gave me a bunch of paint. A neighbor like 4 or 5 doors down, we pick up his daughter and bring her home most days. He does flooring.
Oh
So when I
shit,
did
yeah,
the rolled rubber
perfect.
flooring on the ground, he came and installed that. I got a roofer around the corner, and so like that helps. Being home all the time, having the garage open, walking and doing stuff with my dog and everything. We get to know everybody, and so I can do a decent chunk, and then anything that's outside of my scope of comfortableness with it, I probably have a neighbor who knows what they're doing, so that works.
Something you mentioned earlier was people that aren't fully home gym. So like that's something that I was doing whenever I built my gym. It's like I work at a gym, I've got access to stuff there. I mean,
Yeah,
it's more of like a personal training studio where I'm at now. So it's like we got, nothing crazy that I don't have, but more space and sleds and
yeah.
stuff if I want to do mobility or some of that stuff. And I got a gym membership I'll go to like once a week or so. Crazy good gym. So it's like even in my community, in my townhouse, like we have a community center. It's got a pretty decent gym there. So it's like I got my
Yeah.
garage gym and it's pretty decked out for what I need, but I also have there's a couple things that maybe I didn't get that I'm like, okay, well, I don't need to go get a cardio machine. I've got stair steppers 5 minutes
Yeah.
away. So I feel like I don't hear that a lot. It seems like everybody seems to be all in on their home gym or not. Is that more unusual to kind of be like a hybrid like that?
Um, I think there's a little bit of a I don't want to say bubble or something like that, right? So when you're talking about like people who watch all the videos and are talking online about home gyms and stuff, I think that's somebody who tends to be all in. I think there are more people who watch one video to find out if that piece is good or not, and then that they never follow or any because they're like, I got the thing I wanted, and then I'm done, right? They're not a home gym community member, right? But like I remember years back, Antoine Vaillant,
Oh yeah.
right? So he had in his apartment garage, he had a squat rack, bar, bench, plates, and it's because he was doing 2 days, and so he'd go to the gym and he'd do his full, chest and shoulders workout or whatever,
At
and then
Pure, which is
he'd
the best gym in the world, pretty much.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he'd come home, he'd take a nap, eat, take a nap, eat, play video games, whatever, and then it'd be 5 o'clock. He'd go out there and he'd do some like bench press or something and maybe some overhead press. And that was it, right? And it was an easy-ish second session. Not that anything he ever did was easy compared to mere mortals, but yeah. And so he was using it as a, hey, if the gym is closed, hey, I don't want to drive to the gym to do a 15-minute workout, right? That's why I'm not going to drive a half an hour to do 15 minutes to then drive a half an hour
Yeah.
back, right? Kind of thing. And so I think that's a perfect solution for the vast majority of people.
Yeah.
Most people who want to use machines, even if it's part of a more comprehensive, free weight, etc. workout, you get much better cardio solutions than most of us would have at home and all kinds of stuff. Like, I think that's a really good answer, that combo piece. Because I know buddies who they would want to come over to my place on like holidays because they're like, oh, my gym is closed, right? And I'm like, yeah, this is why you need like three things at
Something.
home, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, yeah, I think for most people that's a perfect solution instead of doing like the reason why ours works so well, being basically the full thing, is because I lift, my wife lifts, my daughter who's 8 lifts. On Sundays, we have a crew that comes over. It's a bunch of my daughter's soccer and basketball teammates. So we've got like 2 weekends ago, we had 7 kids that ranged from like 4 up to 8, right? Doing workout. They're pushing the sled. They're doing some seated rows. We're having them do push-ups and stuff, getting them comfortable with a gym environment, basic movements, building some muscle and things like that. And because I've got things like the Voltras and different stuff, it can go all the way down to 5 pounds as well as, 1 pound at a time. And so, like, I got all the toys in the world to be able to make that conducive for them. And then they go in and they party for about 45 minutes, and the parents do their workout afterwards, which is cool. So we got our own little community where it's like, I don't think you'd be able to do that at any kind of commercial gym. Like you can't take a 5-year-old into a
Yeah.
gym and be like, hey, they're gonna do a workout with me. It's cool, right?
Or
Like,
use Voltras at any commercial
yeah,
gym are they going
exactly,
to be there?
right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
community is
So
just so tight with everybody who's at the home gym, and part of it is just like I am with my clients. Like you just build such a good community because you're doing such positive improvements like
yeah.
together. So it's like for me and for all my channel, like everyone's about aesthetics, bodybuilding, kind of. What's like a difference between because I feel like most of the home gym guys are either like power lifters, ex CrossFitters, or just general recreational fitness guys. How would someone who's got more of a bodybuilding focus, how would they want to set up their home gym versus someone who's maybe more focused on traditional powerlifting?
Yeah, the I think the so interesting piece. Um, I am seeing a shift a little bit towards that more physique bodybuilding realm. I think it's because a lot of the OGs, so to speak, in the space are approaching their 40s and maybe even into their 40s. And so a lot of them are like, well, I'm not going to be able to, tap on, 1 rep max door anymore. Maybe I want to lean into some higher rep stuff so I don't hurt as much and, bones aren't creaking or, whatever it might be. And so um, I think we are seeing not only from the influencer side and content creator space, but also from the world of home gym owners more like interest in the bodybuilding type arena, even to the point of like more and more the home gym companies are putting out like pendulum squats
I got one in my
and
garage. Yeah.
yep, a big focus this year has been around like leg developers. So instead of it being those funky cheap, it's just a pin and like this roller thing, they're actually trying to make something that looks and feels as close to a commercial leg extension, leg curl that attaches to a bench as they can kind of deal. So my original lifting was bodybuilding focused. So a buddy of mine watched the Olympia and all that kind of stuff. I started lifting with him. And then so I looked at Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman and Dexter Jackson and all those guys early on. And obviously you're stupid when you're 18 and you're like, I'll just do Dexter's workout, right? Whatever. Then you limp home and then you eat 3 cheeseburgers and think you're good. And but yeah, so it wasn't until a few years later that I kind of learned like, hey, well, it was a CrossFit phase that kind of put, and not for me personally, but the CrossFit world really shit on machines, right? And they were like, oh, you just got to do cleans and squats and deadlifts and whatever, and that's it. If it's not a normal human movement or whatever they wanted to come up with, functional training stuff, it was garbage. And so unfortunately, like everyone hopped on board with that. And then which some of that I feel like is good because then people who like never would have squatted before squatted, people who would have
Especially
never
for
deadlifted
women,
before.
right?
Yeah, exactly, right? So there was some definite positives there, but it definitely hurt in a way as well. And then powerlifting kind of I feel like was the like V2 of the CrossFit movement. People who were kind of went, all right, well, CrossFit's cool, but there's no progression model built in. Like I'm never building to something, right? Then when, okay, I like squatting heavy or deadlifting, what like I want to move the needle. And then now, like I said, I'm seeing kind of that bodybuilding thing. So hopefully if your goal is to set up a bodybuilding gym at home, you have a lot more options than you would have even
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5 years ago without having to go like to Prime Fitness and just say, I guess I'm going to put a commercial gym in
Yeah.
my garage, right?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people
Uh,
did. Yeah,
yeah,
it's so. What are your thoughts? Because it's like I kind of have a mix. I got the Temple of Gains, pendulum squat. I've never
yep,
used Bolt, but I know Bolt's kind of in the same like they're in the kind of same price range in the market. Like it's
yeah,
kind of
I
like
think so.
in between commercial and like home. I would guess like they're
Yeah.
pretty high grade for a home gym. And then so what do you think about buying something new like that versus going on Facebook Marketplace and getting some old school like Cybex or Star Trek that maybe I
Sure.
mean they're going to be around the kind of same price. Like I was going to get the Cybex hack squat. They wanted 7 grand for it. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. It was like it's
That's
like
wild.
that is just like lore. Like
Yeah,
it's not that fucking
yeah,
good. So I mean
yeah,
that was a little bit, but I picked up like a Nautilus shoulder press, the
yep.
Explode one, which is really nice, and the Star Trek. So I got some old school stuff too, and the price range is about the same, maybe a little bit cheaper for the used one, depending on what exactly it is. So, do you have a preference? What do you think is better? Do you think these new companies are like good and you should just go new, or do you think it kind of depends on the piece? How do you look at that?
Yeah. So I mean the benefit to buying new is you just buy it, right? You don't have to hunt, right? So marketplace, it's not like you go on there and you're like Arsenal hack squat,
Yeah,
right? And then there's just one there, right?
yeah,
Like
exactly.
it could take 10 months or 10 years for that to show up, right? You mentioned Star Trek or Flex, right? Like any of the old school pieces. You may never see like was it the Flex chest press, right? That everyone loves because that was like Dorian's favorite,
Yeah,
right? That might literally never show up on Marketplace ever. Like you might sit for every second of your life trying to find that thing and it never comes up. And if it does, like you
so
said, someone's
expensive.
like, "I'll sell it, but you're gonna
10K.
buy my house,"
Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly.
um, so benefit to buying new is you just get it and then you can use it and you move on. Um, the struggle there a lot of times becomes you kind of have to you got to be educated to know the difference between a company who actually like designs and modifies and tweaks their own stuff as opposed to just is a Alibaba white label import, right? So Temple of Gains is a really good example. He like uses all of his stuff. Everything
Yoni,
is a custom
right?
piece. Yeah. He's down by you. I don't know if you've made your way
Oh, I
towards
didn't know that.
his
He
warehouse or
hits me up
anything.
on IG a lot. I didn't know he was close to me
Yeah.
though. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool.
I think he's in the LA area.
Oh, cool.
So yeah. If you want a connection or you haven't talked to him before, I'll make that happen for you. But
I
yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah.
He like his quad send is the newest piece from
I
his end.
know. I got to tell you, I got the pendulum just because I had to get something. I was like, fuck, I wish I
Yeah.
could have just waited a little longer.
But like even with that, like you can tell it's his because like they put a Voltra mount in the back.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to load up plates. If you have a Voltra, you attach
Is it
it,
a
it
one
hooks on.
mount or it's two?
It's one, and what he told me was he said on hack, he goes, not a single person was able to max that
Yeah.
thing out. So, and I can attest. So, like I said, I had a 550 safety squat bar squat in the fall. I've been doing a belt squat setup with my Voltras, and for like about a 10, 12 rep set, which is pretty brutal, I'm using about 210. So there's something about the magnetic consistent resistance without being able to have any kind of like inertia
Yeah.
kind of thing working in that is just it just amplifies the difficulty of that lift. So but so tempo gains is good stuff because he actually understands what he's doing. He knows why he moved the foot plate a little bit to the left or angled it another 2 degrees or moved the pins to here to there, whatever. Like he lifts, he gets it. The people that work with him get it, like the whole deal. As opposed to you go on Alibaba and you can search up like Prime Fitness and you can find Prime Fitness equipment, right? It looks like it. It's not. It's a third of the price. It sucks.
Yeah.
And so you kind of, like I said, you got to be educated in that realm, almost in the same idea of like being educated enough to find a good piece on Marketplace, right? Like I had a buddy a dude just came by, tested out one of the benches I have in the garage, and he showed me, he's like, yeah, I bought something a couple of months ago off Marketplace, and he shows it to me. It's like one of the Amazon special pieces. And he's like, I thought it would work for a while, and it did for a little bit. And he's like, but I'm already looking to move on. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. Like I looked at that thing going, that looks about as stable as benching on my like fold out ironing board, right? Like so, no matter what, there's a little bit of an education piece, if you're picking stuff up. I think it probably leans towards even more so on the used market because at least if you buy something new and it breaks, in theory, you've got a warranty or a return window or something, or you can go back at that company in some fashion. You buy it off some random dude down the street, and it's like you don't get to do it. Sorry, right? Too bad. So I've done a lot of used market stuff. I still do sometimes if it's the right piece. Obviously, I'm lucky enough that I get a lot of things sent to me at this point, and I don't have to as much. But Marketplace is awesome. I think it's always a great place to start if you know what you're looking for, because the difference between buying let's use Rogue, right, squat rack versus a Amazon bargain something squat rack, right? One is a good deal and one is not. Even if they're both okay racks, the difference between picking one up for 300 and the other one up for 300 might be 30% of retail and the other one's what you paid, right? Like you would have gotten the brand new off Amazon for that. So, but
So do you think that with the leg curl leg extension, the attachments for the benches, do you think it's good enough to replace a leg curl leg extension combo machine?
I typically tell people if you've got the space and that's something that you would use on a regular basis, a dedicated machine is always going to be preferred over some type of an attachment. Um, One is setup, right? You don't have to grab something and then put it there and then, add and whatever. If you've got a selectorized leg curl, leg extension, you just pin and you're off, right? Um, the other one is like stability and movement and weight tolerance, all that kind of stuff. And typically it's just really hard to get everything that you get in a commercial piece into some type of an attachment. I think we're a lot closer in 2026 than we were in even 2025. But we're still not quite there. Like one of the probably easiest examples is the bench attachments don't have the back seat pad. And so you've got a lot of the guys now like, oh, that's good because you can lean all the way back and hit the rectus femoris more. And it's like, well, I want to be able to do that. I don't want to
Have
have to do
to.
that every time. And the problem is when you're a bigger dude and you're pushing pretty good weight, that seat helps you stay in position,
Yeah.
right? More here instead, I'm doing leg extensions and kind of constantly doing this kind of thing,
Exactly.
right? So I end up having to use like I have a seat buckle from Gym Pin that I strap myself in real tight. I end up using straps to grab onto the handles and pull. Like I got to do a whole bunch of wonky stuff to try and keep because I weigh 250. If I load up 545s, right? It's just physics, right? I try and kick it out and it wants me to go like that instead of like that, right? So, the newer one from Dialed Motion, I don't know if you've seen them
Yeah.
tease that at all. Yeah, so the cool thing with that one compared to anything I've seen in a commercial space, you have a ton of adjustments. So you can control starting position, where the pad hits on the ankles, and all kinds of different stuff. And, yeah, it's pretty crazy. So there are some things like that where it's almost like they're almost doing more than you would get in a commercial piece, but we're still missing that other portion because like they're not going to give you a back pad for your bench,
Yeah.
right? So some trade-offs. I argued with a guy the other day because he was talking about how a commercial gym was better, and I was like, look, I never went to a commercial gym that had 12 specialty bars and
Yeah.
chains and bands and had four different cable machines that had no weight on them at all because I can use them in a superset and has like I got a whole wall of cable attachments and stuff like that's no I've never been to a gym that has that. Yes, they exist, but it's in rare
Yeah.
form, right? And I go, so I'm trading some things like better machines for access to all of this stuff. So
What do you think is the best like combo machine, leg curl, leg extension? I mean, I almost got the Prime back in the day. I ended up, like I said, I got some stuff in my community center, so I was like, oh fuck it. But I think Bolt, not Bolt, they might have one, but Temple Gaines has one too, right? Have you tried all the? Oh, you
yeah.
probably tried all the combos, right? Which one's your favorite?
Uh, I I tend to not try things that I can't actually put in my space.
You just don't want to
So
because you don't want to like end up liking it and having to figure out some way to fucking
yeah.
get it in. That's
Yeah, I
funny.
don't want someone to send me, some massive machine and I go, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And then I'm like, "But where's it gonna go?" So, yeah, so Prime is one of my favorites just in general because they're an awesome company. They're really cool to work with. They do great stuff. Um, you got a long lead
Shit.
time, which is not fun.
It's longer now, right? So I built a gym. I had a private training studio I built in 2022, and I think the lead time they gave me was 36 weeks. I hear they're like at a year now.
Yeah, and it
That's wild.
from my experience, and talking to others, that lead time is probably not even accurate. So, I mean,
Jesus.
yeah. So, um, they Prime is part. So it's Prime is part of an actual like the family owns it, and they're like a manufacturing place, and they make other things, and so Prime is kind of the like extra piece to the
Oh, yeah.
puzzle in there,
Man.
and so I believe, from what I understand, is that it's kind of like when they slow down on the other stuff, then they're like, okay, now we'll make some gym equipment.
Yeah.
Even though Prime is a full-fledged business and all kinds of
That's
stuff.
wild.
So you have a demand, right, that does not match the supply, paired with the attention to detail and all that kind of stuff, and everything paired with just how their larger business model runs, and you just get these continually backed up lead times that are just wild. So,
I like Prime. I had a lot of Prime in my gym. I had a lot of Landis and stuff too. But I
yep,
mean, I think Prime's slightly overrated now, honestly, because I mean, they're
sure,
great, but they're like so highly people think of they're the
yeah,
best. And some of the things I got rid of some of my Landis pieces, I kind of like them better, even though they didn't have like the
yep.
cam or the ability to change the loading pin. So I think they're good, but I think they're a little bit overrated, which I think is kind of a controversial take. What do you have any like controversial home gym takes that maybe other people in the community wouldn't agree with?
Probably. I'll add one on real quick with the machine thing. So I learned a lot the old school bodybuilding equipment forum. So as part of like bodybuilding.com, there was a whole thread. This guy was a radiologist, so he had just obscene amounts of money, and he was really into gym equipment. And everything he did was he was 146% in, right? So he was like, I'm gonna find the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. So he was actually the first, this was like a decade ago, buying Panada,
Yeah,
way before I had seen
it's so
anybody
big.
in. Yes. And so Panada's huge now, and people really like their stuff. But like he was the first I remember like, hey, he like flew out there to try their stuff, and
Oh
he's like,
shit.
this is the shit. And so, but he had all the OG Nautilus stuff. He had um he would go through and he'd be like, "Hey, the difference in like version 1 of the Star Trek knee lean hamstring curl versus the version 2 is like these different angles, and version 1 was better. And so, one, I came away with a huge appreciation of like sometimes you got to just try stuff because there was a disagreement in there between people like, hey, I know you said this, but that's bullshit and this is actually better or whatever. Because, if I'm 6 foot and someone's 5'2", there's a good chance that we have a difference opinion as to how that machine feels, right? The other one would be that I learned about a lot of the old school pieces, the new school pieces, how that all works and all kinds of stuff. So, and one of the biggest takeaways was if you're trying to build the best, very rarely is it one company, right?
Yeah.
Prime does really like I think everyone really likes their adductor abductor machine. It's like one of their highest rated ones in the bodybuilding community. I think the only thing I've heard is that from some people it doesn't have a big enough stack. People really like their plate loaded leg extension better than the stack one. There's a handful of things like that, but then people go, but like if I'm gonna get a hack, I'm gonna go with Arsenal, right? Or if I'm gonna get a like there was just they were it's like you see in some of the gyms. You ever watch Mutant on a Mission?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, yeah. So when Ron goes around and looks at gyms, all the best gyms, it's like there's a blue machine and a yellow
Yeah,
machine and a
exactly.
red machine and a white machine the guy's like, I got this off some dude like I was driving down the freeway and it was on the side of the road or whatever, right? And this guy, I found this in a barn or whatever, and so if I was gonna go for the best of the best of the best of the best, I think you'd have to pick and choose little
Yeah.
by little, which would be you'd buy some off marketplace, you'd buy some brand new, etc. Now
Well, it's
that's
like you're
being
saying, sorry.
nitpicky, but yeah,
Like Prime, they got no leg shit. I mean, now they do, but like you said, like yeah, if you're gonna
yeah,
get leg shit, and then Panada's got amazing back stuff. I don't like some
yeah,
of their leg stuff necessarily. So yeah, you got to like
sure.
mix and match it, like totally. Now, what's your controversial take? What do you think?
Um, I uh probably the biggest piece is kind of what you were talking about earlier, and it's comes back to the way I do my reviews, right? So I actually started doing reviews early on because I didn't find reviews done quickly helpful. And so the way I do it, like I said, is a couple of months out. I tend to like to see people who continually use things over and over and over again, have more insights. They go, you know what? When I tried it like this, it didn't really work that way or whatever. Um, so, I like Adrian Gluck. He does a phenomenal job with how quickly he turns stuff around. Um, I think he's the best at that. Um, but him and I have even talked, like, he really likes my content because he goes, man, like, every time you cover something, I know everything about it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And so, the way I told one of my buddies early on, I was like, okay, you've handled like 48 barbells. Like, yeah, I go, you like 45 of them. He's like, yeah. I go, so I don't give a shit about all 45. I just want to know which one do you pick up every day, right? Like, do you walk out Monday through Friday and grab the same bar almost all the time? And he's like, yeah, it's this one bar. And I go, that's the one I'm gonna buy, right? Like that's what I want. So for me, part of the reason why like I still have the garage is I want to be like my audience. I want to have a garage that I lift in instead of like a full studio kind of thing. I want it to be more realistic. I think you still learn things by having to wheel stuff out and set stuff up and whatever. So for me, like the hot take is all the professional stuff is cool, but you still got to kind of be realistic with how
Yeah.
this stuff works and still have a honest connection with the people who watch stuff. Otherwise, it kind of very quickly turns into this I'm just going to sell you the next thing that shows up. So, but
Yeah.
does that work?
No, no, that's perfect. Yeah, and like I said,
Okay.
now that I've talked to you, like I get why I was kind of liked your stuff compared to some of the others
Yeah.
too. What do you think there's anything missing? Like, what's missing in the market? Like, do you think there's a missing space for equipment or something else in the home gym environment that you're just kind of waiting for? Like, why hasn't the company fucking done this yet?
I mean, I know one that people are just going crazy over is so the Voltras. We've talked about that a couple of times. So anybody who's listening that doesn't know, it's uh, that thing right there. It is a in a box that's like this big. It goes 5 to 200 pounds of resistance. You can adjust it in 1 pound increments. It all works off of the little screen there. The battery life lasts a good week or so, even after pretty heavy use. You can control the eccentric, the concentric. So I can say, hey, I want to curl 25 pounds up, but lower 50 pounds down. For something like back, where you're strongest out in the stretch, but weakest, closer to the body. You can say, hey, it's got a setting called inverse chains. I can do 180 here and 150 here. I can combine those.
Yeah.
So I can say 180 here, 150 here, and then 200 on
Yep.
the way back, right? You can do all kinds of wild stuff. And because they're fully portable and have a bunch of different mounts, um, like I said, I've got mine wrapped into like a belt squats setup. I can add it to the Hyper Pro and do weighted back extensions with it. We've used it for like a mock-up of like a sled indoors. So if it's cold outside, we can walk with it. You can travel with it, all kinds of stuff. They're wild, but they're 2,200 bucks a piece.
Yeah.
So the average person does not have that money, is not going to make that happen. They've been out for a little over 2 years, and we still have no competition. Like there's other things that are in that realm, but like the closest thing is like 70 pounds of
Yeah,
resistance.
the Anchor. Isn't there something that did a knockoff of Tonal that's now trying to do the same thing with the
Yep.
Voltra?
Remember that company I mentioned earlier, Expedience?
Oh, that's them? Okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's
their shit.
them.
Okay, well then
So
yeah, fuck that.
yeah. So
Beyond Power is a great company. Yeah.
they're awesome. They're very good to work with. They got a lot of cool ideas. They've open sourced a lot of their stuff so other people can
Yeah.
make different mounts and things and whatnot, which is cool. Um, they don't charge a subscription fee at all, which is wild. Since that's how, I mean, that 2,200 bucks is done. Like they're
Yeah.
not getting any more money and they're still putting out, quarterly updates and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. So, um, it's wild that after 2 years of that continuing to get positive, feedback and everything, that we've not seen any competition. Like we've seen some companies claim they're going to. So like Freak Athlete partnered with a company, Mayak, to bring out what they're going to call the Atom. And it's supposed to be very similar, different shape and design. It was supposed to be out at the end of 2024, I think. And here we are today, and it's still not here. They had claimed it was going to be like 800 bucks, and chats I've had is like, maybe like 1,200, which is still quite a bit less than 2,200, but that's also an estimated number. So we might, by the time it actually reaches production, be more like 15, 16, 17 something, right? So, um, somebody manages to come out with another one and then another one and another one, and prices will come down because you've got competition. Then you start to see companies who, so like I've got, you can see a little bit of it right there. So that's the Force USA Tandem Tower. Um, awesome piece, but it's like 4 grand or whatever it is. At a certain point, I go, where do we just say, hey, stick a Voltra in it, right?
Right.
Instead of having a stack and all these wires and whatever and stuff. So I think the more that companies when Beyond Power isn't the only one that has one, when there's multiple offerings, more companies will then start making actual machines and racks and setups used for them. My head goes, you could make a half rack that's got two
Yeah.
Voltras on it with a Smith, right,
Yeah.
integrated in it, You could come up with some type of converging jammer arm thing,
That's
as
exactly what I've been
well
imagining,
as,
dude.
right, like it'd be super simple and you
Yeah.
never have to load a weight,
Yeah.
nothing. You just clip it onto the right
You
thing
can
and you're
just
good to
add the
go.
extender. You don't need a dual pulley like I've got the one
Yep.
to one ratio. That can get
Yep.
funky.
So you can tinker with to your heart's desire and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, so like we were talking about the dialed motion piece earlier, that would connect right into it. And since theirs has their cable retractor in the machine, you don't even have to run like an
Yeah.
extended cable and stuff. So like there's a lot of opportunities that come from this smart stuff that to integrate and make home gym bodybuilding type stuff a lot more realistic without having to buy insane amounts of machines. Or even if you wanted to, like, let's say I wanted to buy a leg extension, leg curl dedicated unit, I don't have to buy the stack
Yeah.
and I don't have to buy a plate loaded one if it has a Voltra mount on it. So now I just saved $1,000 because I didn't buy 250 pounds of plates, right? And all the wirings that goes into it. I just drop my Voltra on or whatever the smart device is, and boom, now it works. So I feel like that's the next evolution of a lot of this stuff. It's not going to happen just with the Voltra. It's got to be 25 other companies come out with some smart tech kind of thing that's going to work. Um, but once that happens, I think we'll see more and more evolution of maybe we just don't have plate stacks anymore, or maybe it's a combo of the two or something or whatever. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
So.
makes it so much easier to move your shit too if you need to, you know. um, I like Darko. You know, they make some mounts for it.
Yep.
I really like,
That
I like,
that's
yeah,
what those are on right
the quick
now.
mount. Yeah, you know, I bought all
Yep.
my mounts fucking just straight from Vulture. I was like, fuck, I should have like looked around and shit for
Yeah.
every mount there is. I don't need half of them. But
Yep.
I really like Darko. I really like JD Gym Equipped a lot.
Yep.
I think there's so many cool little manufacturers or little companies
Let
that.
me grab something real quick. Um have you seen Eve Company?
No, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you have what are some other cool little companies? Eve?
So yeah,
Oh,
so this
that's a
one goes
triple?
on.
Or just can use
Yeah.
either way though. Okay.
Yeah, so you have a double here, and then if you just want to flip it around, you got one there. So nice thing here is on a rack. Now you've got easy access
Oh
to
shit,
two
that's
in one
perfect.
spot. And then the other thing he had just sent me, so this one supposed it's meant to slide over like a bench
Yeah.
leg. So now you've got it mounted essentially to a bench. So and he's got a crap ton of different options on his website, which is pretty cool. I've got from Beyond Power, I've got the bar mount and the strap mount, which both get used in various ways for different, typically adding to machines and benches and stuff. But the Darko ones are I mean, those are the kind of daily drivers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. He's right by me too. I think he's down here in Orange County.
yep.
Um,
Hmm.
who are some of your favorite like smaller companies, just manufacturers and stuff? Like I love like JD, like it's like art when I look at their shit. I've got the top
Yep.
tier tricep. I got the D handles come in, so that's
Yep.
pretty cool. What are some of these other ones that maybe people aren't as aware of that you think are really
Gonna
cool?
look around my gym a little bit.
Yeah, well, we'll do it. Yeah, why don't you want to start tour? You can show me. You can show me a little bit of your shit while you're.
I can try and turn on the lights and see what it looks like. Is that too bright? That's probably
That's
too
a little
bright.
bright. It was good without it, or less. I know that's what. Do you have the Barinas? They're just fucking so bright.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Well, and
too.
I need them for
Yeah,
basic.
that's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I can spin my table a little bit and you can see. So you can see. So we kind of start over there. So you
Ooh.
got plates, you got the power blocks that just came in that I'm testing, all the various machines and stuff and whatnot on the back corner and the storage. We got the rack, so that's a Iron Bull rack from so the Iron Bull rack has the teardrops on it, so it's both 1 inch and five
Okay,
eighths
yeah.
inch, right? Um, the two Voltras, various attachments and stuff. I got a crap ton of mag pins and
If you're
things.
in the focus, it fucks it up though. You gotta like turn that
Oh
off
yeah,
or
yeah,
step
yeah,
out.
yeah. Sorry.
There we go. There
We
we
good
go.
there? Yeah.
Yeah.
On the back walls, all the specialty bars and barbells and stuff like that.
What's your
So
favorite
like I
barbell?
got
Your favorite specialty barbell?
right now, without a doubt, is the prime bar that I have.
The squat?
But that's no, it's so if you check out one of my more recent YouTube videos, it's a prototype bar. So there's only two people that have it. It's me and one other dude, because it's literally not out on the market yet. So it's a safety squat bar, a trap bar,
Oh
a
shit, I heard
hip
about
thrust
this.
bar.
Is it it's
Yeah,
good?
it's pretty wild, man. Yeah, I'm impressed. So they've got. I'll grab the handles. So
That's so that can replace other bars, save you some space too.
yeah, so you can see. So that clips into the bar because it's got handles, so it
Yeah.
locks in like keyholes. So this is one of the hip thrust pads. So you
Oh,
have
okay.
two that go down in the middle. But it's back there on the wall. But so yeah, it works as a full safety squat bar as well as a trap bar,
How does it
and
compare to their normal safe their normal squat bar? Because I
it's
didn't
pretty
love
damn
their squat.
close.
I didn't
Yeah,
love it that much.
I have that one too on the back wall.
Yeah.
So I ran side by side comparisons, and it's a little different, but not by much. So I think they have a pretty good piece there. Now, of course, when will they actually put it
Right.
to market, and how much will
Well,
it cost,
and how
and
long to
how long
ship?
will it take for you to get it? And yeah, all kinds of stuff is another question. But yeah. So, and then when we come around, let me swing it a little bit more. We come around
So this is new,
to
right? Like you're not many people have seen this yet, you were saying.
the tandem tower or
Well,
what?
just your setup. You said you changed some stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean things are constantly changing, but the biggest change, honestly, is what I'm talking on right now, being able to move things around. So,
Oh, this is good. You get
but
to test it
so
out.
yeah, so tandem tower from Force USA in the corner there. On the ground, you've got the leg developer from Freak Athlete, right by the flag.
How
The
heavy does that
rep
Force
one.
USA go?
What's that?
How heavy does the Force USA tandem go?
250.
Okay.
So, and it's got band pegs built in and a few different things. So, sled, and then my favorite part of the whole gym
Me too.
is the
Yeah.
cable
You,
attachment
those take
wall.
up so much space. You're not gonna get rid of the mag handles and get the Franken ones.
No, never. Mags all day, every day.
I got the knockoffs. They came with my rack though.
Oh, don't tell me that.
They came with it. I didn't purchase them.
Hey, let me turn off the lights real quick.
That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's.
so I just did a YouTube tour, so if anyone's interested for more details, they can check that out
Oh, you
too.
did on
So
yours? That's cool. I wonder if
yeah.
I wonder if I'll show you mine real quick. I wonder if I hope my daughter's not out there. She'll figure out. I wonder if I have anything you haven't seen. I know I have one thing. I know for sure I have one thing you haven't seen.
Okay.
This might be a shit show. Just give me just 2 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Put this out. So I have one piece I know you haven't seen. I have another piece I've never seen anyone talk about, and I actually sent them a couple buyers, and they're it's like 9 grand. So I should have got a kickback for that. Have you done the Vander rack?
What is it?
The Vander M14 competition.
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I never heard anyone talk about this. So I had the Prime Prodigy rack at my gym, and I wanted
Yeah.
something that was really close to it. Hi, baby. This is gonna be a shit show right here. Sorry. Hey, baby. Sorry. Hold on. Hold on, baby. You want to come with me? You can come with me. It's okay. She can I can show her. She'll be upset if she doesn't get to come in the garage with me. Oh man, I don't have my phone to put my real lights on. Oh my God. Shit. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds, big guy.
Yeah.
Too dark in there. Hold on, baby girl. It's like I can't turn on the come on, baby. It's like I can't turn on the garage lights without my fucking phone. Here, hold on. Here, she can come out here. Come on, baby. Come here. Come on. She loves to be in the gym with daddy. Come here.
Yeah.
Come on. All right, so I mean, nothing super cool. Your shit's like obviously way more hype than mine, but this is like my little bit of my setup. So you can see I got the real dumbbells.
Yeah.
No music, baby. This is the rack I'm talking about. Have you used that? You ever play with that?
Uh-uh.
I've never seen anyone do anything with it. But it's got the 1-to-1 ratio up top. It's got the Smith machine. It's got the storage on it. It's a pretty good piece. It came with a shit ton
Huh.
of attachments. I
Yeah.
got the Olympic competition weights and the bench and everything. It was like 9,200 for all the attachments for everything. So
Wow.
pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Got the classic Cybex.
Yeah.
And then this, I don't know if you've ever seen this guy. I know you haven't seen this. The wedge. Babe, hold on one second. You gotta come out, baby. Okay. Nanny's gotta take the baby out. So this is
Yeah.
pretty cool. This is a wedge that's from Eric Janicki. You know Eric?
Uh-uh.
He's like a really big fitness influencer, pro bodybuilder.
Okay.
He sent me the prototype and it's got like magnets. You see how I was hanging on my squat rack?
Yeah, yeah.
What you can do for it?
Ah.
Made just to put on like the steel plated
Yeah.
pendulum or stuff, and it just sticks to it perfect. So it gives you a little bit more options, and it's super
Yeah.
really cool.
Nice.
Really powerful magnets. Yeah, there we go. Now it's a little better. But yeah, you're right. The cables are the funnest thing, and I've got some attachments from you. I got the Atlas bar because of you
Yeah.
up there. There's the top tier tricep bar. Love those. My shitty bars. I have the world's shittiest trap deadlift bar, but I love my Mars bar. I use use
Yeah.
that a lot.
I've heard good things about the Mars bar.
Oh, I fucking love the Mars bar, especially for low bar stuff. And that's the world's heaviest leg curl, that Star Trek single leg one.
Yeah. I've heard that because that's the kneeling, right?
So heavy. I can do half the stack. Temple of Gains, pendulum, and then the Nautilus shoulder press. And then I think one of the
Nice.
most underrated pieces of equipment is that hip, multi-hip.
Yeah.
I feel like for a home gym, like that is money because you can do the good girls, bad girls, A deduction, abduction, hip extension, hip flexion, which nobody ever trains for some reason.
Yeah.
And that's going to
Yeah.
get replaced with the Hyper Pro. So I've still got
Okay.
a few things I got to do, but it's coming along, long.
Nice.
What what do you think? What do you think I should spruce up as a bodybuilder? What am I missing?
Um, I do most of my back and most of my arms on cables, which I'm assuming you're probably in a similar boat with what you got rocking, right?
Yeah, yeah, just the Voltra, yeah.
Yeah, I always, I'd love does your with your bench, you might be able to do like my one of my favorites right now is with the Freak Athlete ABX bench because the top folds down, right? So you can get that out of the way. I can
Dude,
roll that up
I love
to
that
for
bench.
rows,
So
and
can I
it's
ask you this? I was
yeah.
gonna get that bench, but I don't know if you saw. I have a dedicated decline, which is horrible in a home gym space. I feel like
Mm,
nobody has that,
yeah,
but there's no good fucking like FID bench that does a good decline with the knee pad. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they're all so low, like
yeah,
throws you into like extension. I want it to be a little
yeah,
elevated. And I feel
yeah,
like the ABX one was actually okay, but then the fucking head, they do the no gap for some reason. That fucked
yeah,
me up.
yeah,
Is there a good one? Do you think that is good enough to replace the dedicated decline yet? Not really.
yeah.
Fuck.
The only bench we use, so I reviewed a whole shitload of them at the end of last year. The only one that has like true decline is the Bells of Steel Buzzsaw, and that bench as a whole is not great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, FIDs were really, really, really big for a while, and then people kind of went, "Well, I don't actually really do decline
Yeah.
work," and so they kind of just fell off, and it just became adjustable bench, which is just a FI.
Yeah.
So,
It's like,
um,
I love the decline and decline sit up. I mean, I do a little decline pressing now and then, but that it's more for the pullovers and like just the sit ups.
yeah,
I just need that just to be a little higher. Like I had the prime adjustable one that could do it, and it was okay, but
the
it was still
shorty.
it was before the shorty came out. Yeah, the other
Oh, sure. Yep, yep, yep,
yeah.
yep. I'm with you.
So there's nothing that will work to replace that. That's a bummer. Eventually I've got to
Yeah.
like get rid of that because I feel like as a bodybuilder, it's like I gotta get another machine that's instead of having
Yeah,
that right there.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the pendulum's awesome, but that takes up so much fucking space.
yeah.
Do you like the Cybex squat press?
That the one that you have, right?
Yeah, that's the one that
Yeah.
usually I've thought about potentially doing the Temple of Gains and doing the quad send, but I don't know. That's not the same leg press. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's like
Yeah.
I love that kind of pivot press for me versus
The only issue I see with it, and I've had a few buddies talk about this in a home gym space, is the the pins are like way the fuck out here.
of the Cybex.
Yeah.
I know.
So
At least they're
that's it.
removable, but
Otherwise, it's awesome.
yeah,
So
that'll last forever. That's one of those ones
yeah.
that I managed to get a decent deal on that. Now, since Cybex is like not around, like, or I think they're not
Yeah.
around anymore at all, right? Or they just stopped the hack squat.
I saw that the other day. I think their line entirely is done because I
Yes.
think at one point they got bought by Hammer Strength, I
Okay.
think is right. And then I think for whatever reason, Hammer Strength is same thing with Life Fitness and stuff. Like I think a lot of them are just kind of like letting those names disappear for whatever reason.
That's weird.
So,
Yeah, so maybe I'll be able to resell that and make my money back and
oh, I'm sure.
put it
Yeah.
towards something else. Because, like I
Yeah.
said,
Wait a couple of years, you'll be able to build a whole gym off that one piece.
yeah. Is there anything you're looking forward to at like home gym com? Anything like what are you really looking forward to seeing? What companies?
I haven't seen anything crazy listed. So like this last year, it was one, it was going to be our first year going. So there was that. And then two was like, I was really excited to see it was the rep leg developer and the dialed motion leg developer to see. Leg extensions basically never leave my routine. And same thing for my wife. She's got a funky knee, and we found that if we do leg extensions and leg curls before we do anything else, kind of lower body dominant, she's happy. So those stay in the rotation for her as well. So a decent leg developer is kind of a must-have in our space. Obviously, like I was saying earlier, if we actually had the space, it would be a dedicated piece, but we just don't. Um, but the I haven't seen anything that's been like, and it's probably because we're only in February. I haven't seen anything yet said like, hey, this is going to be a Home Gym Con exclusive. We're going to have this, for first to see or whatever. We still got to plan our trip to get out there. I mean, we're going, but we haven't planned anything yet. So I don't know yet. We're actually debating. So last year I ran around and saw stuff and all kinds of things. This year Jake's got the first day, which is Wednesday, like afternoon. First few hours is exclusively for like media, which
Yeah.
I would be considered media. So then that way we can walk around and talk to the various booths and get pictures and videos and whatever and different stuff. I'm debating potentially doing day one like that to get whatever I need and see stuff and shake hands, whatever we're gonna do, and then day two and three running a booth
Oh,
and
cool.
making it kind of just like so like I'm one of the head moderators on the home gym section on Reddit. I schedule all of the AMAs for companies and different people and stuff. So I'm debating doing something tied into that. So make it the, gray matter booth. I get to talk about my competition and the various video stuff I do, whatever, and then I will try and schedule some of the content creators and stuff like that are there to stop in. Maybe Gluck will stop by from noon to one or something, and then people can ask him anything kind of deal.
Yeah.
From two to three, maybe it'll be Kurt or Jake or something or whatever it is, and um, integrate all that in. And so, and then on top of that, then that means that I don't have to run around the whole
All right.
convention for 3 days. And so we got done, and we were like, oh my God. Like it was a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And I didn't even get to like, I think I got to like half of the companies that were on my list. It was wild.
You're gonna be able
So,
to see everything if you do that? Or you're gonna be able to get it on the first day?
um, so I think that's part of what I gotta figure out is like what's my goal for going, right?
Yeah.
What am I trying to accomplish? I know enough companies and enough people at this point that going and trying to like make new connections isn't probably the primary piece to the puzzle for me. I don't know, like that was helpful last year. I don't know that I need it for this next year. And then so I don't really do because again, like my content strategy, right? Talking like a content creator, is not short stuff, right? So like walking in there and being like, look at this cool thing, and then look at this cool thing, and then look at this is not really my jam. So I don't have a goal of walking in and filming like an hour-long video while there or doing reviews on equipment that I saw for 13
Right.
seconds and stuff like that. So I don't have the same wants and needs as some of the other guys who are going to walk around and do that. So a lot of them will do these first looks and whatever. I'll probably take pictures, get some video for B-roll for future projects. Like I've used the video that I took of testing the rep leg developer, the dialed motion, a few other things in a bunch of other videos. So it's been really helpful because you don't want to mention something in a video and be like, but remember this is coming and then not have anything to show,
Right.
right? So some of that stuff is real helpful for future projects, but otherwise it's one of those like I don't know that I need to do anything else. So I think I'll walk around, say hi to some of my buddies, get the little bit I need, and then I think the benefit to running a booth is then more people will get to see me, and that's actually would probably be a better return on investment in terms of my time there, is people walking up and going, "Oh, hey, I know you," or "I don't know you," right? And now I do kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so that's it's kind of where my head's at. And Jake has told me, so Jake's runs Garage Gym Experiment, runs Home Gym Con. He's told me that I could have a booth if I wanted to. So we'll see. So. But that's kind of where my head's at right now.
Yeah,
So
it sounds really cool. I've gone on the Arnold quite a few times, and the last time I went, it was kind of lame. And I know it's not like the same thing, but it's just like a big
yeah,
convention. It's like more of the shit that I like at the Arnold. Like I'm looking for the
yeah,
equipment and for the shit. So I think it'll be
yeah,
cool to check it out and kind of geek out on it. Um,
yep.
what are there some like? So you never saw that Vander rack before?
Mm-mm.
Like, are there
There's
some?
there's there's so many companies, man. Like at a certain point, it gets real hard. So
Yeah.
it would be interesting to know, do they do other things?
They
Have you
just do
like with
fucking racks. Yeah, different versions of
interesting?
racks, but that's like their
Okay,
their monster one. But they've got a half rack, I think. They've got some ones without the
sure.
Smith, some dialed down. So there's some
Yeah,
companies that just don't utilize you guys like at all, huh? They don't want you to use any of their shit and
yeah,
review it.
yeah. So it's an interesting world, right? So I've had this conversation with a lot of people over the years of like, um, we run a business, right? So if you were Pepsi, right, and you're running a business and you wanted to run an ad, right? You wanted people to know more about Pepsi. They would expect to pay people in some fashion, right,
Yeah.
to advertise to get their name out. They wouldn't just be like, "Hey, you like drinking Pepsi? You should tell everyone on the planet about Pepsi," right? Um, for some reason, there's this consensus in the world with content and stuff like that sometimes that if you should just do this for free, right? Like you should just make YouTube videos for free. And sometimes I go, I don't think you understand. Like I just spent it literally gonna be like $5,000 on just the camera shit that I set up to make my time more efficient in this particular space, right? That doesn't include the lights I already owned and the camera because I had to buy a second camera to be able to do this the way I wanted to, and the computer and the monitor, and like not even making videos is really expensive, let alone if I had to buy every single piece of gym equipment and never make any money off of any of it. So there's um affiliate links is the main way a lot of us make our money. We say, hey, we like this, we don't, whatever, use the link. We get a small kickback that depends on the company. It's anywhere from 2 to sometimes some companies are wild and it's like 20%, but that's
Uh,
pretty rare.
yeah.
Yeah. But I think one of the things you can tell personally is that if someone only ever talks about stuff that they can make money off of, that tends to be a sign. I think if they only ever put out content that is how they're going to make their next big paycheck, I think that's a sign. So I mentioned the mags earlier. Uh, I've I have an entire article on my website about mag grips. It's the number one article that shows up on Google for mag grip, like above their own website, right? I've got 3 or 4 different videos on my YouTube. One's got like 70,000 views or something. Like I've done everything about Mag. I even took product pictures for them on their newest handle and made them a video and stuff. I've never made a dime because
Oh, wow.
they don't do an affiliate. They don't pay for any of that stuff, nothing. I just really like them. We use them consistently all the time. And so I tell people that, right? A lot of the other people in the space have figured out that they can't make a dollar, so they'll recommend the other ones on Amazon
Yeah.
or something like that. And so to me, that's always kind of weird. So I'm gonna tell people I like something because I like it, because I use it, whatever. But full transparency, I'm also not typically tracking down things that I can't potentially make a dollar on, right? So if that company doesn't have an affiliate process, if they're not going to send out a $3,500 rack for free or whatever it is, I'm probably not going to talk to them because I'm not going to spend 6 months of my life testing a rack to then put out a video that I have to pay an editor to edit for me and all the stuff that I collect with it and then a full write-up and everything that I do to then go, and I lost
Right.
$4,000. Like,
But you got 1,000 views. Is
yeah,
there a main
yeah.
company that's
So,
like that you wish wasn't? Like what's a big company that you're like, come on, if you could just help us out, we would help you out, I'm sure.
um, I wish Mag would have an affiliate process, but only for me.
You should. They should just
Because
for you.
yeah, so I can guarantee you. So, you had a pair of the track handles, right,
Yeah,
on
oh,
your
I
gym?
love those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got those because of you too.
So, really good example. I've used the track handles for 6, 7 years, something like that. They've been on my best cable attachments list forever. I got them from the bodybuilding forums because people loved them there. So I've had them for a long time, have really enjoyed them, have recommended them along. In the last I think it was like October or something like that of last year, they started an affiliate process. Weirdly enough, a whole bunch of dudes now love the track handles, right? And so they got them for free. They have an affiliate link. They all this different stuff. And so I don't hate on track handle for that. It's probably working out very well for them. It was a good investment of their time and everything. They make a good product, so it's not like they're hawking crap, right? It's just interesting if you kind of understand the business, how these things then transpire, right? No affiliate, no way to make money. All of a sudden, they turn that on and then it just explodes. And you're like, why did every home gym influencer all of a sudden love this one thing, right? So, yeah, I don't. Okay, I'm looking around my gym. There's not a whole lot that I'm like, man, like I wish they would do something. I honestly that like I've told people before, so I've got metrics and stuff like that on my site, like how many, clicks and views and whatever. The MagGrip article gets like 6,000 a month or something like
Wow.
that. I would have probably paid off my house by now
Right?
if I had a mag affiliate. Like they put up something, I think it was last year, and they were like, our three biggest sellers are, and it was, I think it's the close grip supinate, the medium supinate, and the medium pronate. And then I put up a post afterwards and I was like, the three that I recommend the most are, and it was those three. And they laughed. They're like, well, that makes sense. And so, yeah, it's like legitimately, if you search mags, it's like my post, then it's like my videos, then it's like my post on Reddit shows up where I talked about the like it's all me. And so,
Even just
and
searching you. I was searching you to try
yeah.
to find your discount codes, and it was just mad grips
Yep.
coming up.
Yep. That's my jam at this point. I'm the cable attachment guy, and so yeah, that's probably the only one. And I've asked them a couple times, like, hey, I'm going to talk about you guys no matter what because I like what you do. But have you ever considered this? And they're like, we've thought about it. The
But you're
owner,
doing it for free.
yeah, they're the owner, the dad. So it's because it's a family-run company. The owner, so the daughter, I think is who I talk to most of the time. Her dad, the original dude, I believe his name's Tom. He is pretty old school. So, like, have you seen their new, like, their triceps
Mm-mm.
attachment that came out a while back?
Is it flat?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that
yeah,
guy, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So, they sent me like the second one off the production line or something. And I did a video for them and they were like, "What?" Like they didn't even have a name yet. They were like, "What name?" And I was like, "I would call it and I think it was the Mag Bomber." And I said, "Because it looks like a stealth
Yeah, yeah,
bomber."
it
And
does.
I said, and I go, and then the tagline would be "Blow up your triceps." And so she liked it, and then she comes back and she goes, Dad just wants to call it the palm press. And I was like, okay.
His dad. I like the bomber.
So yeah, so he's like, I want to call it exactly what it is, and like he's just totally old school. So which is cool, but yeah, I just laughed. I sent them over like some cool product shots and stuff, and they used them for social, but then on their website they ended up using like just this really generic like it on a white background or something. I'm like, all right. Their website is super archaic, and I think he's like, well, we still do sales, so it must be fine. I'm like, okay, sure.
Maybe when he's retired, you'll get that affiliate code.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
What
So,
what is your absolute last? What is your absolute favorite cable attachment? I know it's a hard question, but if you could only, maybe
the
not counting D
mags,
handles. What's that? The mags? Those are your
the
favorite?
mags. Oh yeah, yeah,
What
yeah,
makes
yeah.
those? What do you like those better than the knockoffs? Besides the fact that they're originals.
One, I did a whole video on them versus the knockoffs as well as the Prime, 4-in-1, 3-in-1, etc. But in general, there's a couple of pieces to the puzzle. So one, there's some kind of like nostalgia piece to it for me. So when I first bought a set of mags, I had spent like they were like on my to buy list for like 6 months, and I was like, kind of went back and forth multiple times. Wasn't sure like should I buy one or two or five or whatever, and just ended up went okay, I'm gonna buy these two. They show up and just had this immediate realization of like, oh, this is what a good cable attachment is, right? Like I went from aluminum crummy Amazon lat bar and tricep handle and rope that was falling apart or whatever to that. And I think at the same time I bought the American Barbell V bar and just went, oh shit, like huge just light bulb moment. Sold all the cheap crap, bought two more mags, and went and bought a handful of other things and went, okay, like now I get it. Here we go. So part of it I know is this like they're the ones that unlocked that idea in my head that different angles, different fits, different, structures, different widths, different whatever can make a huge difference, right? If I change my hand from here to here, all of a sudden, like I can feel everything better, right? I can handle more weight, I can whatever. So that's a piece to the puzzle. As much as possible, I try. I'm not perfect. I don't think anybody is. I try to support the original creator, right? As much as I can. Them being a small American made family who still makes the best options out there. They are more expensive, but for my dollars, that's worth it. So I'll go that route. And they've been very supportive of me, helping publicize my articles and my content and whatever. When people have questions about which ones, most of the time they send it on over, and go, hey, check out Joe's article. Like they just do that instead of like having a
Yeah.
conversation with people a lot of times. So that helps. So there's multiple pieces there, but when I actually bought a pair of the knockoffs. They showed up. One was bent. One, I think two of them already had the rubber casing coming off and stuff like that, and a few different things. And like I know that's not everybody's experience. A lot of people get them and they're perfectly fine. But I just went, all right, like that's a sign, I think,
Yeah,
from
right.
whoever, right? That these are just not for me, right? And so that was in the video, and the typically when they show up, they're in a pack of like four, I think, and two of them are almost the exact same thing
Yeah.
because they didn't really understand the difference between pronated and supernated and neutral. It's all these different pieces where I'm like, okay, Mag gets it. They know what they made. They know why they made it. All of that to me adds up to that's why it's a superior product.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I want to compare them side by side because I've just been on my old ones for so long, on these ones
yeah.
that came with the gym. But I remember when they first came out, and it was like revolutionary. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, I feel my back and not like just my
Yep.
arms." um, one more question, then I'll let you go, Brody. If someone was like designing a home gym, what is like one mistake that they need to avoid? Like, what's a common mistake you see that you don't want other people to make or that you made?
Yeah. Can I give you a couple?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So first one is don't go too fast, right? So I see people they sign up and they're like, oh, I'm brand new to this. I'm gonna just go all in, and they spend 10 grand and then they fucking hate it, right? For whatever reason, right? It's too hot, it's too cold, it's whatever, right? There's all these different things. I actually have an article on my website basically trying to talk you out of setting up a home gym for
that's
those
good.
reasons, right? If you're the kind of person who walks out into the garage and you're starting to warm up and then you're like, oh, what's that noise? And you got to go inspect it. And then you're like, oh, sounds like a drip's broken and you got to go fix the drip. And then now it's an hour and a half later and you didn't do anything. And you're like, well, there went my workout, like, and you're done. There's a whole lot of things where it's like you got to be a different kind of animal to be able to walk out into the garage and say, I don't care if it's 110 or 30. I don't care if there's shit blowing up across the street or whatever. Like, it's workout time and get it done, right? Um, as much as the drive to a commercial gym is annoying and having to wait and whatever, sometimes that's the answer because once you drove there, you're probably just going to get your workout in, right? You have that sunk cost mentality in your head of like, I'm there. When it's here and readily available, sometimes that's not the case. You're like, oh, I'll just do it later. So, don't go super crazy right out the gate unless if probably maybe ever, but like unless if you've like yourself is probably a good example. If you put stuff in your garage, like you're gonna use it, right? You've been lifting for way too long to all of a sudden go, oh, I'll just
Yeah,
do my
I'm done.
workout tomorrow or something,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
No, like you've already built up the rotations and the consistency and the whatever, and you probably look forward to it and all this different stuff. Um, that's another one is kind of like we were talking about earlier. I actually pretty recommend newbies to go to a commercial gym of some kind to start off. One, because you have it's like leasing, right? Instead of buying, you pay 30 bucks for the month or whatever the gym membership is, and you get to try every piece of cardio, every machine, every dumbbell, barbell, and movement on the planet, right? You don't get to do that here. You may show up to the commercial gym and go, you know what sucks? barbell squats, right? You know what sucks? I don't want to bench. I don't want to deadlift. I want to sit my ass on a leg curl machine and curl it. And then I want to move over to the next one and do leg extensions, move over to the next one and do a chest press, and then move over to the next one, right? Because a lot of times commercial gyms have that kind of like circuit set up with
Yeah.
the machines. And you're going to do like 3 rounds of all that. And that's your workout. I would rather you do that, even though it might not be the most effective workout on the planet, than nothing, right? So you got to find something you enjoy that you do consistently, etc. It's hard to do in a home gym unless if you kind of already know. And I'm bad at this, and so are a lot of others. Our recommendations are like, you need a bar and a rack and a bench
Yeah.
and plates and whatever. Like, not everyone wants to do that shit. So, I would start off at a commercial gym. I would experiment there and find out what you like. Pieces at home that either supplement or replace the commercial gym and make your way into kind of how that's all going to fit into your world. And then the last piece is hopefully all that solves this, but keep using it. The greatest gym on the planet sucks if it just collects dust. So, one of the biggest reasons why I started the garage gym competition was to encourage people to lift consistently. You put something on their calendar that they're working towards. Now, all of a sudden, their training gets a little bit more inspired, right? They're like, "Hey, I'm working towards a bigger squat, a bigger deadlift, whatever." They actually do it. All those different things. Um, and so, yeah, so start slow, use a commercial gym as your kind of test pilot piece, add pieces where it makes sense, and then just keep using it forever. So
It's like
that's it.
responsible answer. Yeah, you know that's so true. But
Yeah.
it's so true. But like, there was a. Have you ever used a Jim Lenko hack squat? You ever seen that?
Sorry. No, I know the company, but
Yeah, it's a beautiful hack squad. Small footprint, looked perfect. It's not in the US that much because it's like a Swedish company. And I had a chance to buy it. I was like, ah, I haven't tried it. And then my gym bought it. And then I tried it. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I should have fucking bought it because it's like impossible to get now. But yeah, in general, that's usually not the way. And then Home Gym Con, I guess, is another good opportunity if you guys are like, you want to try shit out. That's a good chance to try it
yep,
out before you buy it. So with your garage gym competitions, what
yep.
is that like the big three or what do they do?
Yeah, so goal is to be really inclusive. So right out the gate, we kind of went, if it looks like a squat, bench, or deadlift, it probably counts. We're not gonna sit there and, judge depth on the squat or did you pause on the bench or anything like that. We had somebody, I think it was either the first or the second year, he was like, "Hey, I'm an army vet. I have nerve damage in my legs. I can't squat or deadlift very well, but I can bench. Can I just bench?" And I was like, "You bet your ass you can." And then I had people who were like, "Hey, I've got nerve damage in my back, so I don't, deadlift with a straight bar, but a trap bar works. Does that work?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I don't care, right? Like, we're not a federated, competition. Like, this is not how that works." So, I've had people do belt squats or goblet squats or whatever. It's all good. So the whole goal is put something on your calendar, work towards being a little bit better than you were last time. Um, Participate in the community. You can win prizes. I think last year we gave out $17,000 in prizes per event. Prizes go out not based off of performance, but just by participating. So you get a ticket if you participate, and then we pick the tickets at
Oh, that's
random.
cool.
So you can win the grand prize as a 5-year-old kid who squatted for your first time, or as a professional powerlifter. I got buddies like Travis Rogers, who's I think he hit a 2108 total or something
Christ.
like that, and at like 205, something nuts. He's been sponsored by Kabuki and Elite Fitness and a whole bunch of different people over the years. He competes every year, he sponsors and stuff like that. And so we donate to nonprofits. So if you participate, I donate $1 per person who participates to a nonprofit at each event. Um, yeah, so and it's free. It's completely free.
Oh, it's free
So
to enter. I thought that's
yeah.
really cool. You got some big sponsors I saw too, right? Who's one of your bigger
Yep.
sponsors?
So Juggernaut, AI sponsors, Prime Fitness sponsors, Rep Fitness
Oh,
sponsors, Mag sponsors now.
they'll do that. They'll do that, but they won't do any affiliate.
I'm trying to do like you remember like the Oprah's favorite things thing
Yeah.
that she used to do? Yeah, I'm kind of trying to do that with it. Like I want to give away all of my favorite stuff and the companies I work with. And so, Jim Pin is on there and they're giving away some of the cable attachments I really like.
It's cool.
Guy who makes a squat harness is on there. IPR Fitness makes some really cool cable attachments, some that we
Yeah.
use for like cable curls and stuff like that.
Oh,
They're on there. Mutant Metals, who makes some incredible stuff, is on there as well. Freak Athlete sponsors, Nordstick, and
oh
a whole
wow.
bunch of others. So yeah, I think we'll end up with somewhere between like 25 and 30 sponsors this year. So, and yeah, it's like I said, super simple. You perform your lifts during the week of the event, you upload them to your social media of choice, and then you fill out a submission form so then that way we can keep track of everything. And that's it. And then we take care of the rest. I donate on your behalf. I pull all the winners and we announce it. We got a whole prize week where we walk through, we announce like a winner every 2 hours or something like that. And it's crazy. And people are always like, this is the most exciting and thrilling and devastating week
That's
because they're like, oh, I know I didn't win. Okay, well, maybe the next one. And so, yeah, it's cool. It's good stuff. And, I've had people who are like, everything from I didn't know I was that strong and now I do, right? And now I'm really excited to get back, in it and, push for more. People who are like, I got a buddy in Elk Grove who tells me every time and goes, you're probably the only reason I've kept lifting all these years, right? Because it's on the calendar, so I'm going to
yeah.
do it. And so I'm there. I've got people who are like, hey, I didn't even know what powerlifting was. I participated, and then now I'm competing in
Right into
like
it.
sanctioned meets and stuff, right? All over the board. And I just tell people, I go, I don't care how you use it. I don't care if you use it as a prep for your real meet or it is your meet or you just do it for fun and you throw it in your training randomly. I just want people to lift. Right. I spend enough time telling you to buy stuff.
Yeah.
I want to spend some time telling you to actually use it and how to use it. I've got coaches and top level athletes who work with me that we give out training tips like every 2 weeks in my
That's
newsletter.
cool.
So like Larry Wheels,
Mhm.
so his coach or was coach John Gaglione is one of the coaches. So he drops training tips with us as well as a whole bunch of other guys. And everything's just it's like I said, it's that extra piece of the puzzle of I'm going to talk about gym equipment, but I'm also going to help you use it to chase down what you're doing. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
it's cool.
yeah, if you spend all this money on your gym equipment, you want to look like you use it. A couple guys, maybe not
Yeah,
so much.
hopefully.
Yeah.
So,
Well, fuck, man, I appreciate it so much. I've had some like huge guests on recently, like millions of subscribers, and like I've been so
awesome.
excited to talk to you about the home gym stuff.
Yeah.
This has like been really fun for me, so I really appreciate it. Thank you
Cool.
so much for your time, brother. So definitely check
Of
out
course.
Garage Gym Competition. Check out Joe's YouTube, Gray Matter. Or is it your name or Gray Matter Lifting? You can look up whatever, huh?
Yeah, if you Google gray matter lifting, it's unique enough that it should be the only thing that shows up. And you should find my website, my Instagram, my YouTube, whatever, however you want to get there. If you're really into home gyms, I've got a newsletter that comes out every 2 weeks and kind of combines everything. And so you'll get exclusive discount codes and details on stuff that I've got going on. You'll get all those training tips and updates on the competition and when it's coming and what we're doing. You'll get all the links to my newest reviews and articles and behind the scenes stuff. I shared some stuff on the Rep Leg Developer that showed up the other day that I haven't put out anywhere else and probably won't. Updates on the stuff I'm doing on Reddit, the AMAs and the different talks and stuff, and anything else I got to share goes in the newsletter, and then everything else kind of goes out on social here and there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Uh,
you like you take a while to do your YouTube videos, but you might have like a sneak peek in the newsletter.
Yeah, so the newsletter normally gets like a first look kind of deal. I might share something like I think it was the first one I did in January. I full on said like, here's my whole plan for the year.
Oh,
So
cool.
people got to see like everything I was gonna try and do and work on. I let newsletter people pick and choose like, hey, do you like this? Should I do that? Did I miss anything? Whatever. Make sure people get to weigh in on that stuff. And then they also get exclusives like I have a thing that I call a gray matter garage sale. So I
Oh,
can't
cool.
keep all the stuff
Oh,
that
that's
I
cool.
review. And so I put it up there first before I put it on Marketplace. And so if I can ship it, I'll ship it. If not, if it's, bench or something like that, it's got to be somebody local. But they get first dibs, and I tell them, hey, you get the friends and family price. Like I literally list it on there for quite a bit less than I would on Marketplace because one, I know it's going to somebody cool, and two, I don't have to deal with the bartering and haggling and will you take $4, right, and
Right.
deliver it to my house and
That's funny.
all that stuff. So yeah, so I know email is hard for a lot of people because we get so many freaking emails. I try to make sure that that newsletter is really worth it for people to be a part of and to check out and to read. And then I've got processes in place that like if you're not reading it after 3 or 4 weeks, it literally says, "Hey, do you still want this?"
Yeah.
And it will remove you from the list if you
Oh, that's
don't,
cool.
and all kinds of stuff. So, which it's totally cool. Like I get it. We get busy, we change our minds, we whatever kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's the newsletter is the easiest way to keep up to date on everything, just because there's so much going on in the world that I operate in. But yeah, so yeah, Google search gray matter lifting, you'll find me. So
I got to join that. I didn't know that was there. Appreciate it so much, man. Thank you so much for your
yeah,
time.
of course.
All right. Awesome. Have a good one, buddy.
I do.